Hello, it's Miss Hall.
Miss Nelson.
So you should have already watched the video link that was on It's Learning and got the first top part of your notes. If you did not go through It's Learning to pull these notes up, you need to go back to It's Learning and click on that link and do the first part of these notes. It's another video, short video that explains that. Okay, so I'm going to do example 1. Daniel is constructing a deck like the one shown below. How many square feet of decking will Daniel need? So it looks like we have a square and a quarter circle, but let's test that. So if we know that from here, this is a quarter circle, and from here to here is 10 feet, then we know from here to here has to be 10 feet because the radius never changes. So if this is 10 feet and the whole area from the width of the deck is 21 feet, then we know that this over here is 11 feet on the rectangle. So even though it looks like a square, it is in fact a rectangle. And those are the type of things you're going to have to figure out when you looking at composite figures and making sure that you have the right shapes. So our shapes are a rectangle and a quarter circle. All right, so area 1, I'm first going to do the area of the rectangle. So I'm just going to write that here. Formula, look on your formula chart. Area is base times height. I'm going to substitute in. So I have 10 times 11. And so my is 100, and that so area is 110 for the rectangle. And my units are feet squared, so my area is 110 square feet. All right, so now I'm going to do my circle, and my formula for my circle is pi r squared divided by 4, or you can multiply by 1/4. It doesn't matter. If you divide or multiply, you're basically doing the same thing. So my substitution is 3.14 times my radius is 10 squared, and all of that divided by 4. So remember, squared is means you multiply by itself. So I'm going to just write this over. 10 times 10 is 100 divided by 4. Now I'm going to simplify. I know that 4 goes into 100 25 times. And then I'm going to multiply 3.14 times 25. So I have 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7, 5 times 3 is 15. Now I'm multiplying by my 2, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, 15, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, don't forget your decimal. I have 2 decimal places up there, so I need to put my decimal up there. And I'm running out of room, I'm sorry. Hopefully you can write smaller on your paper. So my units was feet squared. So area of the quarter circle is 78 5/10 feet square feet. So total area, they want to know what total area is. So we have to add that together. So we have 110 plus 78 5/10 equals 188 and 5/10 feet squared. So that's our total area of our deck. Now, extension to that is how much will it cost to stain the deck if it costs $122 per square foot. What if you need to apply 2 coats of stain? So we're just going to take our square footage, which is 188 and 5/10, and multiply that by $1.22. 2 times that is 10, 16, 17, 16, 17, 3. Now I'm multiplying by my second 2, which is going to be the same. Now my 1. Add them all up. 14, 19, 10, 11, 19, 12. Don't forget these decimals up here. We have 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal place. So that is going to be, for 1 coat, it's going to be $229.97. Now it says, what if you apply 2 coats? So we're just going to multiply that by 2. Don't get your decimal. And that would be $459.94. Okay?
Okay, number 2 says, Liam is helping to mulch the play area at the community center. The diagram below shows the dimension of the play area. If the bag of mulch covers 24 square feet, about how many bags is needed? If necessary, round to the nearest whole number. Okay. So it gives us some information, okay? So we know that a bag of mulch covers 24 square feet, and we can round to the nearest whole number. Now, the thing with rounding to the nearest whole number is you cannot round until the very, 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 very end of the problem. If you start rounding all the way throughout, you're going to be slowly changing your answer, and your answer is going to be wrong by the time you get to the end of the problem. So, key information. Well, I know that I need to identify shapes. And then I need to find their areas. I know that 1 bag covers 24 square feet, okay? So that's going to affect what we do in the process. So we're going to make a plan. So first we are going to identify shapes. Because if you don't know the area of the individual shapes, you certainly can't put them all together. Second step, we're going to find the areas and add them all together. Okay, and then the third step here is that 1 bag covers 24 feet. So if I want to figure out how many feet I'm going to need, or how many bags, I'm going to have to take the total area covered and divide it by how much 1 bag covers. So I know that my last step is going to be divide by 24 to find my answer. Okay, so I'm going to break this up into steps. So step 1 says I'm going to identify my shapes. To identify my shapes, I'm actually going to draw on my shape that they gave me and break them up. So that's shape 1, shape 2, and shape 3. Okay, so shape 1 is a rectangle, and I'm going to call it rectangle 1. Then we have rectangle 2, and then we have a semicircle or a half circle. That is very important because it is not a whole circle. Okay, so step 2, we're going to find the areas. So area of a rectangle equals base times height. So the base and the height of rectangle 1 is 10 and 5. So when I multiply those, I get 50 feet squared. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change colors. So this row right here is 50. Rectangle 2, same formula. base times height, except for now my numbers are 8 and 7. 8 and 7 is 56 feet squared. Okay, so this semicircle, that means that I want half of a circle. So I have to put the 1/2 in front of my pi r squared because I don't want the whole circle, I only want half of the circle. Okay, so we're going to fill in what we know. I know pi is 3.14. And if my diameter is 7 all the way across my circle, my radius, half of that is going to be 3.5. So I'm going to square 3.5. Okay, so I'm going to move it down so we have some more room. So, order of operations says that I have to square my exponents first. So I'm just going to keep copying down my 1/2 and 3.14 until I'm ready for them. So I'm going to multiply 3.5 times 3.5. Because remember, squared does not mean times 2. Squared means that number times itself. So 5 times 5 is 25. 15, 17. Take over to the next lane. So we have 15. And we have 10. So I have 5, 12, 2. So I moved 2 decimal places. So 3.5 squared is 12.25. Okay? So now, at this point, you have a decision to make. You can either get rid of your half now by dividing one of these other two numbers by 2, or you can multiply your decimals first and then go back and divide by 2. Okay, so that's the way that I'm going to do it. I'm going to multiply my 12.25 and my 3.14 first. So 5 times 4 is 20, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, and 4, placeholder. 1 times anything or just those numbers. 2 placeholders now, because now I'm at my third number. 3 times 5 is 15, carry the 1, 6 plus 1 is 7, 6, and 3. So when I add them, I have 0, 5, 9, and 5 is 14, 15, 16. I have 7, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 8, and I have 3, so I have 4 decimal places. So that leaves me with my 1/2 times my 38 and 465 thousandths. Okay, so now to get rid of that 1/2, all I need to do is take that 38 and 465 thousandths, I'm going to divide it by 2. So I'm going to come down here. So 2 goes into 3 once. 2 goes into 18, 9. 2 goes into 4 twice. We'll keep scooting down. We'll keep running down the room. Bring down that 6. It goes 3 times. Bring down that 5. It goes twice. Add a 0, bring it down, and it goes 5. So the area of my semicircle is 19.2325 feet squared, or the proper way to say that is 19 and 2,325 10,000ths. That's lots of fun to say. Okay, so from here, now we're going to have to add all 3 of our areas. So I'm going to add my 50 feet, my 56 feet, and this really long one that we just solved. So because we have a decimal, I'm going to line up the decimals, and if I need to add additional zeros, I will. Okay, so I need to add 2 more zeros on each one of these. So we know since that's all zeros, my entire decimal is going to come. I have 15, carry the 1, and I have 12. So I have 125 and 2,325 10,000ths feet squared total. Okay, it doesn't want to know though how many total feet I have. It wants to know how many bags of mulch I'm going to need. So I'm going to switch colors so you can see it. So remember that last step that we decided up on the top was that we want to divide by 24. So I'm going to take that answer that I just got, and I'm going to divide it by 24. So 24 goes into 125 5 times. That's 120. I have 5 left over. Bring down that 2. 24 goes into 52 twice, which is 48. Now, remember it told us that we could round. So you could finish dividing. However, if I want to know how many bags of mulch I have, once I hit my decimal, I know that I can be done, because if I just take 5 bags of mulch, okay, that's not going to be enough to cover the extra 0.2 whatever that is left over. So because of the situation and because of what we have to deal with, that leads us to 6 bags of mulch. So a total of 6 bags of mulch are needed to cover that area, and you will just have additional mulch left over at the end. So make sure that you have taken all these notes, you have all the steps. Skipping anything is not going to be helpful to you. And come prepared tomorrow with any questions that you may have. Bye.
Bye.
So if I